Good morning. Happy Monday. Today we're going to talk about how I made $10,000 in the last 6 days with one simple offer. And if that feels big to you, I want you to compartmentalize it. What if that was $1,000? What if that was $3,000? What if that was $5,000? What if that was $50,000? Okay. What would that do to change your business? We're going to talk about it today. I'm going to give you my whole strategy. I'm going to tell you what I did, how I did it, how you can rinse and repeat this, because we need some wins right now. We need some sales wins. And I wouldn't be a good coach if I came on here and didn't help you generate some sales. So that's what we're talking about today. Let me know in the chat who could use an extra $1,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 in their business this week, because I'm going to show you how you can put together a really simple offer and make some progress with sales. All right, so let's talk about, here's the other thing. I was looking at my YouTube channel. I just passed 9,000 subscribers on YouTube. Yay. My goal, and I have not said this to anybody out loud yet, so you're going to be the first ones to know. My goal is to get to 50,000 YouTube followers by the end of this year. I don't know if I'm going to make it, but I'm confident that I can get there or really, really close. So I'm focused on YouTube. And what's cool is that I see a lot of my YouTubers, this little red play button at the bottom of the screen means that you're watching me from YouTube right now. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, this is my shameless plug. Go over and go on YouTube, look for Sarah Williams, Subscription Box Coach. Go subscribe to my channel because I have big goals, and I would love to see you over there. Also, let's talk about my Facebook peeps. I have another goal. I've been hovering at like 30 to 32,000 Facebook followers for like the last year. My goal is to get that to 50,000 by the end of this year too. So shout out to my Facebook watchers. Hello, everybody. So whether you're watching me on the Facebook or the YouTube, I appreciate you following me in all the places and helping me reach my my goal. So, okay, I'm going to break it down because here's the thing. I showed up last week and I told you that I had a disappointing launch. I told you that it didn't go well, and there were some things I was gonna do, and I knew that I had this Mother's Day box launch coming up. So I haven't done the extra things yet. That's on the plan for this week now that we're out of the one-time box launch. But here's what can happen. You can come from a kind of a crappy week in your business to having a really successful week in your business. And that's what I did. And that's what I'm here to show you is that when one thing doesn't work, we got to still try the other thing. Okay. We still have to keep going. We have to figure out what is working and keep working what's working. And so here's what we're going to talk about today. And it's okay if you don't have a big budget, you don't have a big audience, and this doesn't involve a complicated funnel. You know, if you know me at all by now, you know that I try to do things simply, not to overwhelm myself or any of you. But I made over $10,000 in the last 6 days using what I already had in place, not doing, anything big or extravagant. And today I'm going to share exactly how I did it so that it can be your next goal. Whether that's 10,000, 1,000, 5,000, or 50,000, however you spin this is for you so that you can take action. I was at a conference a couple weeks ago, and what was kind of bothering me as I was listening to people speak is that a lot of people just say what and why, but they never really give you the nitty-gritty on the how. And I feel like that's something that I've been very good at is I'm always peel back the curtain. I always give you the how. I want you to be successful. I want you to make money. I want you to feel a lift in your business. I want you to be successful. That's my driving goal every time I wake up in the morning is how can I help my audience, whether it is on the public page or inside my paid groups, how can I help my audience move the needle? It's one thing to say the what and the why, but if you never learn how, you're never going to make progress. And I am an action taker. I am a doer. And I want you to do. If I just give you the fluff, if I just give you, this is what I did, now go do it. Like if this is what, hey, I made $10,000, I sold a one-time box, y'all go. And I never told you the strategy. I never gave you those action items. It feels like it's heavy, and it feels like I don't know what she did. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. And so I always show up with some action items for you. So that's what we're going to go through today. So if you're like, okay, I'm in, I need to make some money in my business, grab a notebook, because I'm going to walk you through what I did. Okay. So we're calling this the Mother's Day box, but really you could do this with anything. Maybe you don't have an audience that a Mother's Day box would fit. But I'm thinking of some things that are coming up right now for spring. This could be a one-time spring decor box. So if you are doing crafting boxes, you could do a spring decor refresh box. I was thinking about graduates. If you have things that graduation is coming up, maybe you have a teacher audience, you could do like end of school teacher box. Maybe I was thinking about Lexi. I don't know why I was thinking about Lexi. Maybe if she had spring bride box, like gift a bride that just got engaged this year, a bridal box. Maybe that's because I'm getting married and that was on my mind. But those are some things, like if you don't have like mothers as an audience, I want you to think about how you could just make this a seasonal thing. Like spring, the weather's starting to warm up. It was almost 100 degrees yesterday here in Texas, and now today it's 70. It's weird. We live in this weird vortex. But I think that there's always a refresh. There's always a reason that you could do a one-time box. So here's how it all started out. I had these really cute floral boxes that we used for Mother's Day last year that I had extras of. I had 150 extra of these boxes. So we pulled these boxes out of the dock and we said, okay, we have 150 boxes. They're left over from last year or the year before. We don't need any packaging costs to go into this. So I already had packaging. Whether you have leftover boxes from your monthly subscription, whether you did, any kind of special box, if you have packaging there, use what you have. If you have 30 boxes, let's go with 30. If you have 100 boxes, let's go with 100. Okay. So I had zero packaging cost involved in this because I had already paid for them at least a year ago, if not a year before. Then what we did is last month, this is really quickly, we didn't put a huge plan together. Amber and I mapped out some of our best-selling one-time products, like what people really love what we sell out of a lot when we do one-time boxes. And that brought us back to our pajama boxes. Every time we do it at the holidays, we sell out. We did a little pajama box last Mother's Day, we sold out. So we said, okay, let's put together a one-time pajama box. We'll call it our Mother's Day box. And let's figure out with this box that we already have, what can fit into it, because that's the deal. I don't want to come out of my pocket more money for when I have boxes already here. So we took the box we already had and we started to map this out. So we picked out some different pajama options, and then I had her call our pajama vendor and say, hey, we're going to do this promotion next month. Tell me what your pajamas you have the best in stocks on, so that when we order next month, we're pretty sure that we can get that product. So we went through a couple different things. The one that I wanted the most, they had very little in stocks. And so we went with something else. Now, here's the thing. It's still a mystery. So when Amber calls today to actually place the order, we can switch the pattern if we need to, because we didn't show the pattern at all. We can still get the pajamas. It may not be the one I initially had in my mind, but we can still get pajamas. So check with your vendors. What do they have in stock and what can you get quickly? Then we partnered with another local vendor for some items to go with the pajama set in this box. And we did that for two reasons. One, they had stuff in stock. Two, they're local. And so we literally can drive across town, or actually they'll bring it to us and get the products that we need. So we knew we had two vendors we could get all the products from from this box, and these were vendors that we have relationships with. And so we just contacted them and said, this is what we're doing. This is what we need. So now we already have boxes laying around here. Let me know, do you have boxes laying around your area that you can start to put a box together? We contacted a couple of vendors that had stuff in stock, so we wouldn't have to wait very long for it. And then we put it on the calendar. Okay, here's when we're going to sell it. And we're going to sell it as a pre-order, because I'm not ordering any pajamas until the pre-order is over, which is today. And then we'll call the vendor, we'll order all the pajamas, and we'll start personalizing everything when they get here. I know that I needed 3 weeks. I needed 3 weeks to get the order here, personalize everything, and pack everything. So we just backdated it on the calendar. I knew I wanted to ship them out by May 1st. And so we just gave ourselves 3 weeks. Okay. And so we put it on the calendar. Now, we had this on the calendar before my crappy launch last month. So I'm coming out of this launch that wasn't the greatest. And now I've got to show up and sell my face off again. And I'm thinking, let's see how this lands. But the good thing is I didn't have a lot invested in this box because we didn't order a bunch of stuff already. And so I felt good. Like, if this is 50, great. If this is 100, great. If I have 150 of the boxes, so I could go up to 150, perfect. I would love it. That would be great. We sold 137 boxes in 6 days. And I'm really happy about that. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I did to do that. So let's go through the offer. The offer was a one-time box. It was a pre-order only. And that is important to put that in the description and the title of your product, pre-order, because they know they have to wait for it. It is a limited edition and it is a one-time only. Okay. Now, I was targeting my existing subscribers for this box. I already have this audience of people that know, like, and trust me. And this was an additional box to what they already get, and one that they could gift to their mom, their mother-in-law, their grandma, their sister-in-law, their daughter that might be a mom. That's how we positioned this. And I really targeted my existing subscriber base that already loves getting their boxes from me. That's my warmest, hottest audience. And 80% of the sales that came from these one-time boxes came from my existing subscribers. I did not have to spend a lot of money going and finding new people to buy these. This was from the audience that already know, likes, and trusts me. Okay. So let's go through the selling strategy. I didn't do a wait list. I didn't do a lot of hype going into it because I was coming off of a launch, right? If you remember, I was in my t-shirt launch. And so I really just regrouped from that launch and started into the pre-sale of the Mother's Day launch. So here's what I did. I laid out 3 lives over the 6 days. I did an open cart live. And in that live, I showed up and made the announcement that we have Mother's Day boxes. They are limited edition. I brought a lot of energy. I was excited about that. I showed them the cute floral box. That's all I showed them. Okay. No sneak peek because I didn't have them. And I was worried that if I showed them a fabric and then I couldn't get it, I was in trouble. So I had to save myself there. No sneak peek. I just told them, you're going to get a pajama bottoms and it's your choice, shorts or pants. You're going to get a monogram t-shirt to match your pajama bottoms, and you're going to get a set of luxury spa items to go with your pajama set. And that's all I told them. I didn't show them anything but the outside of that box. Okay. So I did 3 lives, one on open cart day, one in the middle of the week, and one closed cart night last night. 3 lives in 6 days, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. That's what I did. They were short, about 15 minutes. And so I did that. Now, the next thing I knew is that I knew this was going to be email heavy. This was going to be an email heavy campaign. And so I wanted to make sure I had lots of emails going out because that email list is my warm audience, right? That email list, especially those engaged openers, my subscribers, that's who I wanted to really focus on. So I focused on emails. I did 9 emails in 6 days. Okay. I know it feels like a lot, But that is what drove most of my sales for this launch was our emails. It drove a lot of traffic, it drove a lot of sales, and it drove conversions. So I want you to think about it. It's okay to over email people. It's okay. Okay. So I did 9 emails in 6 days. And I just went through all the reasons why you needed to buy this. And as it was getting closer to Sunday, I started to create more urgency with those emails. 72 hours, 48 hours, 24 hours. I even sent 3 emails yesterday. So I sent 3 emails to my whole list yesterday. 1 in the morning. I got like 7 sales directly after that 1 in the morning. I sent 1 midday. It was kind of wrapped into my newsletter. I got some in that one. And then I sent 1 about 6 o'clock as like, hey, we're in the final hours. And I got several from the 6 o'clock emails. I sent 3 emails that last day. Okay. The other thing that I did is I sent 3 texts throughout the 6 days. 1 on open cart day, 1 midday, and then 1 on the last day. So I sent a text message 3 times. Okay. And then the other strategy is that I ran some ads. Now, I knew I was targeting my warm people, the people that were subscribers, the people that have bought things from me, the people that open their emails from me regularly. And so I didn't spend a lot of money on ads for the 6 days. And I only spent $600. So that was like $100 a day. We actually broke it up into 2 audiences and spent $50 a day per audience, which is really manageable. And it's really affordable to spend $600 on a promotion like this. So I spent $600 and I made $10,000. And the rest of the stuff, is just me showing up, me writing emails, me going live, me sending a text. Okay. So let's outline that if you're taking notes, okay? 3 lives that also coordinated with 3 texts, 9 emails, and a little Facebook ads budget, okay? That's something that all of you can do. That is something all of you can do. The hardest part is sitting down and writing all the dang emails, right? And so I think it's just using what you have to make it work. Okay. And the interesting thing is that I had a lot of sales come in the last 24 hours, like going into Saturday night. I think I had in 5 days, I had about 100 sales. And then that last 24 hours, I had about 40 sales in that last 24 hours. It's that urgency. It's that. And also I hit them on that last day. I sent them 3 emails. I did a live and I sent a text. So I hit them 5 times on that last day to help them convert. And it's okay. And I know sometimes we get in our head about, I'm overselling. They're sick of hearing about this. I got very few people unsubscribe from my list after sending them 9 emails in 6 days. They either delete it, they move on. And if they unsubscribe, they were probably never a buyer of mine anyway, right? So it's no skin off on my back. Actually, it saves me money in Klaviyo if they unsubscribe because they never buy anything anyway. So I just want you to remember that your job is to market. You are a marketer. You are a content creator and you are a marketer. And if you refuse to accept those roles as an entrepreneur, you're not going to get anywhere very fast. You have to be a content creator and you have to be a marketer to be an entrepreneur. And when we step back from that and you say, I just want to be the curator, I just want to be the creator, I just want to be the maker, that's great. But how are you going to sell your product? And that's something we have to lean into. And the results is that I sold over $10,000 in 6 days after coming off of a flopped launch, after coming off feeling defeated with my payment debacle. It was already on the calendar, so I just stepped into it. And 80% of my existing subscribers, 80% of the sales came from my existing subscribers. The people that love me anyway. Now, typically when I run ads, most of my traffic comes from ads. But what we saw was most of my traffic was coming from emails. And that's because my ads budget wasn't as big as normal, like a launch. I would be bigger than that. I was working those emails. Even if you have no ads budget, work the emails, work the text messages, work the lives. You can work that without spending a lot of money, okay? And so the traffic was coming from people on those emails. Lori says the emails work because I bought a box. I was having FOMO. And I just had to keep working the emails. Like literally yesterday morning, I wrote the final email. Like I was writing them as I went because I wasn't that planned out because it just came off of a launch. Now, it works because this is an audience that's already warmed up. So I want you to think about what audience you have that's already warmed up. Is that your social media audience? Is that your email audience? Is that both? I want you to think about your already warm audience when we talk about this. I'm not trying to get cold people to buy this box. This was cheap and effective for me because I went after my warm audience. I also created a lot of urgency, exclusivity, and scarcity. I use words like limited edition, last chance, exclusivity, this exclusive box. I used words to create the urgency and exclusivity. And then the other thing was I didn't just treat this like, oh, I got a new product in my shop. Here it is if you want to buy it. I treated this like a real launch. Even though it was kind of scrappy and thrown together, I did my marketing campaign as if I was launching. Every day we had multiple posts only about the box. Every email was only about the box. Every live was only about the box. So I focused only about this box for 6 full days. And it sucks because I have Easter stuff I still need to sell, but we weren't trying to mix messages here. One focused call to action, and I sold almost all of my boxes, okay? So I'm going to give you some clear action steps. Nikki says, I bought a box too. See, and that's the thing. These people aren't new to me. They already know me. They already know the quality of products I have. Okay. So let's talk about those action steps. If I've got your wheels turning this morning and you're like, I really need to make some sales in my business, it's not too late. Okay. So number one, I want you to look around and see what products or packaging that you already have, or what can you get quickly to create a one-time box this month. Then I want you to brainstorm a one-time theme that your audience would get excited about. And remember, we talked about like a spring decor, spring, like graduations, teachers, like whatever your audience is, what would make them excited to buy a one-time box from you? And then I want you to sketch out a 5 or 6 day launch promo the same way. I'm going to have an email every day. What does this look like? I'm going to go live 3 times like Sarah did. What does this look like? I have text messaging. So when can I line these up? And if I can spend, say, $300 on an ad campaign, I'm going to send it to my warm audience because those are the people that are going to buy. And my conversions were actually cheaper on Facebook ads than they were last year. And nothing has been cheaper than last year. So that felt good. And then plan it out. How long do I need? How long before I can get the stuff? How can I make this happen? You probably have everything that you need, or it's at your fingertips to get it. All you have to do is actually make a plan and execute it. And that's what sometimes we fail to do. We have intention. We want to do it. We get excited to do it, but we fail to execute because we create no accountability for ourselves, no urgency for ourselves. So if that's you, if you're like, I'm a procrastinator, I have all these great ideas and I never follow through with them, here's your mission for today. I want you to go announce that you're going to launch a one-time box this week. Put it out there so other people can hold you accountable. Tell me in the chat what your one-time box could be. If you're thinking about this, I want you to think about what came from that. What would those one-time boxes be? Let me know. I see a question up here. Amanda says, how many purchases would you say came from your ads budget? So I don't have all the data because it's like 7 o'clock on the West Coast, and that's where my analytics person is. But so she hasn't filled it out for this morning. But what I can see from what she's filled out from last week, let me do some math real quick. Hang on. It's hard to do math this early in the morning. I can see that I had 24% of my purchases came from ads, which equated to about 32 boxes. Now, that's not exact data because we don't have the data from yesterday in that spreadsheet yet. But if that helps you understand, 24% of the total came directly from Facebook ads. And if you look in my ads manager tells you more. It says more of that came from ads than what we actually have. And that's because it attributes things. If people saw the ad, but maybe clicked a different way to purchase, we use UTM tracking. So I know exactly what link they purchased from. So if that helps you with the ads, that's great to know. Okay, so let's talk about what you can do for your one-time box. Jasmine says, Mommy and Me box. Amanda says, I'm going to work on a one-time Mother's Day box, but I only have 3 people on my email list. Okay, so then we got to get it out there in ads. And if you only have 3 people on your email list, I'm going to ask you, Amanda, what can you do right now to start growing that? You're in Launch Your Box, correct? Because our whole training this month has been on building an opt-in and a lead magnet and building our email list. So if you haven't watched that lesson, if you haven't worked on that, I'm going to challenge you to work on that because that email list is driving my sales. But also I'm emailing 15 to 20,000 people each one of those emails. And so with you not having a big email list, I'm just worried. And it doesn't even have to be a big email list. If you had 100 people on an email list, that's going to give you some traction. I almost would challenge you, Amanda, not to worry about a one-time box, but to go get an opt-in set up so that you can grow your email list first. Is it Aisha? Notebook, journal, bookmark, coffee mug. She's on it. This is wild. I'm launching a one-time craft box with me. One-time craft with me box for Mother's Day. Okay. Yes. Get on it. I gave you the whole strategy. A pamper box. I like it. Nikki says summer outdoor entertaining. I like it. Fake sprinkles for Halloween or fake. Are we already working on Halloween stuff? I guess crafters have to get so far ahead of it. Shanita says a one-time Mother's Day box with a coupon. Okay. I like it. Let's get going. Okay. Let's get going. And let's get going because this is doable. If you wanted, so my boxes were $65. Okay. Say you wanted to make an extra $1,000 right now this month and you wanted to launch a one-time box. My boxes were $65. You need to sell 15. Do you see how doable that is? If you're in your mind, like, can I generate $1,000 in sales this month with a one-time box at $65? All you need to do is sell 15. Maybe it's a $50 box and just do the math, but figure out a goal and then let's work towards that. If you have a couple hundred people on an email list, you can easily sell 15 boxes. Those are your warm people. If you have launched your subscription box and you have subscribers, think about how many of them would want to buy a special one-time box, maybe for themselves, maybe for somebody else. It was crazy watching these orders come in because a lot of the orders had multiple boxes on them. 2, 3, 4. They were buying one for them, one for their mom, one for their mother-in-law. I had one customer buy them for her 3 daughters. Like, think about the people that are already in your world and let's go make some money. All right. I hope this was helpful. I want you to share with me if you launch a one-time box using my strategy, and let me know how it goes. All right. All right, guys. I'll see you soon.